Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing great and you've had a fantastic week. So if you're like me, I tend to find a lot of jeans at the thrift store, but they never fit me. Like this pair of baggy jeans, I thrifted for $2 and no one wanted her. She was in the reject pile. The zipper was broken. She just didn't understand where she belonged, but I took her home and in a matter of hours transformed her into this beautiful pair of high-waisted fitting jeans. And this is something you can easily do with any pair of baggy or oversized rejected jeans that everyone has broken up with. You can take them home and turn them into what you want them to be, because we can't do that in real life with people, so we might as well do that with jeans. So I'm going to show you how to transform any pair of jeans you find at the thrift store into well-behaved jeans that don't talk back to you in a matter of hours, really. So let's get into it. So first thing on the agenda is to seam rip off the belt loop. Don't worry, this is just a temporary breakup. We're gonna take them back because we do not know any better. So just seam rip off the belt loop, and I didn't do it completely yet, but I'm going to do so. And then I also seam ripped off that tag, and I'm doing this to these bits because I want to restore them to the jeans after everything is resized, and it will look like I bought the jeans cute and fitting, and I did not take them out of the gutter and basically resuscitate them myself. So we want to fake that we've got money to buy Arizona jeans, y'all. I don't know how much they go for. So now that the tag is out of our way, we're going to seam rip off the waistband, and this is super easy to do. Just slide your seam ripper in between the threads and push it through, and it will cut through the threads. So denim fabric is really sturdy. She can handle a bit of manhandling and she's going to recover. She is not as emotionally fragile as I am, so she is good. So just slide your seam ripper in there and really push it through, and this breaks the threads and disattaches your waistband from your pair of jeans. And take your time if you need to. You need the waistband to come completely off, but make sure you stop at the side loops, okay? Don't go past them. You don't need to get into the other people's businesses. Just reach where you need to reach. So you can see I made sure to stop at the side loops, and once I was happy with the amount of waistband that was seam ripped off, I seam ripped off the remaining end of the belt loop and marked under it. This is going to be the midpoint, and it will come in handy later. After that, I seam ripped off the remaining end of the belt loop, and she had given me so much headache at this point. I wanted her to go and think about her actions and come back a new woman. So she really did put up a fight. She did not want to break up, but I forced it. And after that was done, she was gone and out of the equation. So now you're going to grab your pair of jeans, wear them if you have to, and mark the excess fabric. So I didn't have that much excess fabric because this pair of jeans was just baggy, not oversized, but I still measured it and it was 6 centimeters. And since it was on a fold, we need to mark 12 centimeters. So with that midpoint, I'm going to mark 6 centimeters on each side of the midpoint, and this will enable us to reduce the waistband to the size we need it to be. So prop up the waistband and you're joining the right sides together. If it's confusing, just watch what I'm doing, and I promise you, you will get the hang of it when you're doing it yourself. So join the right sides together and then pin along the points you marked. Remember, we need to take off 12 centimeters, and of course this varies according to how much you need to take in on your waistband. And once everything is nice and taken in, you will see that the waistband will be your size. So just sew a stitch along the pins, and this will reduce your waistband. So moving on to the sewing machine, we're going to use the elastic straight stitch, and it's this stitch right here. It sews forward once, backward once, and then forward again. So it's really secure, unlike me in all my relationships. So you can really count on her, and this is exactly what you need when it comes to denim. You need something reliable, and a denim needle also helps. So this stitch does take a bit more time, but of course, if you want a good thing, you have to wait. So just sew your elastic straight stitch, and once that's done, this is what she looks like. So it does look like a straight stitch, except it's much thicker, and that's what we need. My goal is to be as thick as this stitch for 2021. So once everything is nice and sewn on, you're going to cut off the excess fabric, and you've essentially taken in your waistband at this point, and your jeans are ready to wear. I am definitely kidding. So now I'm going to use an overcast stitch, and it's this stitch right here on my sewing machine, and this is basically to prevent your denim from fraying and causing havoc in there. You want her to be well behaved so that her new husband doesn't leave her because she is a pain and you don't want to deal with her anymore. So once the overcast stitch is sewn, this is what she looks like, and she's going to contain the denim thread. Do not judge her by how she looks. And now it's time to take in the excess fabric that lies beneath your waistband. So turn them inside out, and you're going to mark the midpoint of your pockets. My pockets were 6.5 inches, so I marked 3.25 inches, and I did this for both pockets. Of course, vary this according to how wide your pockets are. And once you have this midpoint, you're going to draw a straight line through until you get to the top of the jeans. So this is to enable us to take in the excess fabric. When you put on the jeans at this point, there'll be a lot of excess fabric and you need to get rid of it. I guesstimated honestly, and I took in 8 centimeters. So I'm just marking 4 centimeters on either side of that straight line, and this is going to be the amount of fabric we need to take in. So if you need to do it, wear the jeans and see how much excess fabric you need to take in. And once you've drawn out your dots, basically, you're going to join the straight lines, and this will take in all the excess fabric and everything will look nice and neat. So I just pinned along the straight line on both ends, and you can see the excess fabric is going to be nice and taken in. Repeat above both pockets because you do need everything to be symmetrical. And now you're going to sew your elastic straight stitch along the straight line, and this will help you get rid of the excess fabric. So at the sewing machine, you have the hang of it now. You are a professional and nothing can get in your way. It's super easy to do, just takes a bit of time, this elastic straight stitch. But once she's sewn on, she's not going anywhere. You will regret marrying her in case she's not the best because you can't leave her. So once the dots are sewn, that's what they both look like, and you can see the excess fabric is just hanging around. We need to get rid of her because she is toxic. So using your pair of scissors, get rid of the excess fabric, and once you do this for both dots, you're going to have a raw edge that looks like this, and raw edges will ruin your marriage. So in case you want to have a prosperous and long marriage, make sure you overcast them to keep them in check. So the overcast stitch is basically what we did before. I'm just doing it in a black thread now so that you guys can see exactly what's happening. So once I was done stitching that raw edge, this is what the overcast stitch looks like, and it basically just locks in the denim threads. That way they don't go fraying about and just misbehaving. So I did this for both dots, and then we're now going to turn the jeans the right way out, and you've basically taken in your jeans. So align the middle of the waistband to the middle of your jeans and just slide it in. That is definitely what he said. And you're going to enclose that piece of fabric using your waistband. So you're going to make sure everything is nice and aligned. You do want this to look neat and professional. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't put so much pressure on yourself like your parents put on you. Just do your best. I promise you will be fine even if you sew this in the dark. Well, maybe not, but just do your best, okay? That's all that matters. So I pinned along the bottom of the waistband, and once I was done, I seam ripped off the remaining belt loops, and this was because I needed to be able to access the waistband beneath them. So I just tucked in the excess fabric, and I'm going to tuck in the belt loop as well. And this is because I thought I could sew with the belt loop like this, but I ended up removing them and just sewing the waistband on its own. So just pin the waistband to your trousers. I also was over ambitious and pinned the middle belt loop. I ended up not sewing any of the belt loops, so just skip that step. So at the sewing machine, I used my handy dandy elastic straight stitch. At this point, I was really clinging on to the security she was giving me because it was a foreign concept to me. And once I got to the thick parts that I needed to sew, I really slowed down and took my time, and after breaking a couple of needles, I moved on and continued sewing like nothing had happened, just like I do in real life after a mental breakdown. You just have to act like everything is okay. So I sewed along the bottom, and you can see this is really easy. You're basically reattaching your waistband, and once everything is nice and sewn, your waistband is now beautifully reattached, and your pants have this wonky pockets. So you need to fix them. You're going to seam rip half the pocket off, and this is because you need the pockets to lay flat and they look decent, and they won't give away that you are a makeshift DIYer who's just winging it in life and you have no idea what you're doing half the time. You need to look professional and like you can actually afford a good pair of jeans. So this was super simple. Just like we've been seam ripping this whole tutorial, take your sweet time and seam rip everything off, break what needs to be broken so that we can put it back anew and you will be a new person. So you can see once you shush out the fabric, everything lays out nice and flat, and this is what you need. You can see the difference between the two pockets, and the pocket that's not seam ripped foot looks a bit funny. She looks like she doesn't fit in. And even though you did not fit in high school, you don't need the same for your pockets. So once you've done both pockets, you're now going to re-sew where you seam ripped. And I used a basic straight stitch for this. I felt like I was over relying on the elastic straight stitch and I needed to give her some space. I'm kidding. I just didn't need that much security for the back pockets. I felt like I could get away with a basic straight stitch. And you're going to do a continuous stitch. When you get to the corner, just lift your presser foot, turn your fabric around, make sure it lays flat, put your presser foot back down, and then continue sewing your straight stitch. This is so easy to do. It's basically like giving candy to a baby. You can literally do this even if you've never had a sewing machine before. This is so simple. So with the pocket sewn on, everything is starting to look like it belongs. The family is being reunited at this point. I also sewed back the belt loops because it was about time, and it was now time to re-sew the tag back on. This is completely optional. I just felt like I wanted my jeans to look kind of decent, so you don't have to do this, but I did it. And I did my continuous straight stitch. I didn't do the elastic straight stitch because my tag was really fragile and I felt like she would just fall apart. So I did my straight stitch, and the same thing we did for the pockets. When you get to a corner, lift your presser foot, put it down after repositioning your fabric, and continue sewing. This just makes sure you have a continuous stitch and everything is nice and aligned. So I didn't take long doing this. Honestly, I think 2 minutes and I was done, and the tag was back on and life was good again. So if your pair of jeans does not have a broken zipper, you can end the tutorial here and enjoy your new jeans. But since my zipper seemed like it had lived several lives and had given up on being alive, I decided I would let her be however she wanted to be. I wouldn't fix her. I would ignore her and hide her just like I hide all my emotional baggage when I go on first dates. So I sewed on some snap fasteners. I followed a tutorial that I will link down below. It was really good. And once the snap fasteners were sewn on, I could easily just hide the zipper and close my jeans, and no one would know everything I hide in this emotional baggage suitcase of mine. So at this point, I am done with this tutorial and I have a new pair of jeans to enjoy. Look at that. I really love how baggy they fit. I think they have kind of a mom jeans vibe and a boyfriend jeans vibe, but also fitted vibe in one. And for $2, I'm gonna add this pair of jeans to my collection with no shame. I think the only thing I'll come back and redo is fix the zipper once I have the mental capacity to do that. But for now, these jeans are perfect to me and I love them, and I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I know there's lots of oversized jeans at the thrift store, and you can use this method to take in any pair of jeans no matter how oversized they are. You'll just need a bit of patience, so good luck with that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and that I'll be seeing you in my next one. Until then, stay safe and take care. Bye!